Welcome to Tombstone, Arizona. On this episode, we'll be exploring a desert dream airstream, going out into town, and exploring the Wild Wild West. We'll also be checking out some of the coolest restaurants around the area, checking out some good food, and then I will be attempting some crazy jumps. After, I'll be volunteering at the cemetery where I'll also share some life details and what inspired me to start this YouTube journey. Let's jive! For this episode, the road was paved the entire time, so I didn't have to get a rental. This was in a remote location in Tombstone, Arizona. I had my own little corner here at this location. As you can see, we have a barbecue grill, we got some western looking things on the wall, like some saddles, some hooks, lasso, and we have a little sink here. And then we have a little campfire area with a lot of wood, so stories can be told. And it looks like the wood was free too. I didn't have to pay any extra for it. Walking into the Airbnb, you get this code and then you get the key out of it. And my first impression as soon as I got in was, man, it is very, very hot in here. I began sweating almost instantly. But it was very welcoming and it was very Western themed, as you can see. We had a nice little sink area, cutting boards, and we had something to cover the light from coming in. So I had to figure out how to get this AC on ASAP. As soon as I got the AC on, the temperature began to decrease and I was starting to feel comfortable again. Highly recommend you turn on the AC. This Airbnb featured a vintage microwave, guitar on the wall, and then we have this double bunk bed here. So as you can see, this is about 6 feet long, and I wouldn't want to be bottom bunk just because there's not much room down there. But if you keep walking further down the hall, you'll see the bathroom area. We have a fully functioning toilet. We had water coming in through the sink, and we have a little shower area here. I'm about 6'3", and this place was tiny. So if you're afraid of small spaces, I do not recommend this shower. As you can see, my head was hitting the ceiling, like it was scraping it. It's not for tall people. You gotta be shorter for this. I wouldn't recommend being tall for this. And then here we have the master bedroom. I would say this was about a full-size bed. And, it works, I wouldn't say it was the most comfortable, but it works. Walking back into the hall, you can see in this little closet area here, we had a bunch of board games. So if you're with someone, you can play a bunch of these games. We've got Monopoly in there, some blankets. It was giving some cozy vibes, I'm not gonna lie. This Airstream was also fully equipped with a bunch of utensils. So I opened up the drawers and you can see we got some scissors, some towels, and then we have some forks, some spoons, and knives, like everything you need to get some food in your belly. And then this vintage fridge, we had some ice in it, and nothing else really. It was pretty empty. The only thing I could find was some baking soda. On the other half of the kitchen, you can see here that we have a bunch of cleaning utensils just in case someone makes a mess. A fire extinguisher for just in case, as you can see here. And yeah, there's really nothing else. We got a garbage can. It looked like your standard kitchen. And then we have the living room area. This looks super comfy. However, this was like wood. And it wasn't as soft as it looks, but it's very aesthetically pleasing. And it definitely adds more to that Western vibe that you see around the entire property. And don't forget the little coffee area over there. At this point, it was time to unleash my inner cowboy. Yeehaw! As you can see, I was having a great time out there. I was walking around feeling like the man, and it was time to get some dinner. So I headed to Crystal Palace. This is a very popular restaurant in Tombstone. It featured some cool wall fixtures and some live music. This was established in the 1800s. As you can see, the waitresses were dressed in full character mode. The prices were pretty reasonable on the menu. I ended up getting the signature Crystal Palace burger. It was so delicious, however, not enough food for me. I'm a big boy and I needed more food, so I ordered another sandwich, the chicken sandwich, and then I was full. After dinner, I got to see the beautiful sunset in Tombstone. And then I made some new friends. This is Jack the deer. Say what's up, Jack? What up, Jack? Jack is antisocial. I finally got home to the Airbnb and you can see at night it is well lit. These are my favorite pair of shoes. They say dream big. I made the executive decision not to sleep on the bunk beds because, I'm a big guy. So I ended up passing out in the master bedroom. In the morning, I found this horse feeding trough, and I thought this might be a great idea for the daily jog. So I made my first attempt, and whoa, too easy. I knew I had to step it up a notch. So I added a trash can right in front of it. This significantly increased the difficulty. I definitely needed a proper warm up and stretch for this one. He's going for it, almost eats it, but oh my gosh, I cleared it. Keep in mind, if I end up eating you know what, it's just me on the desert feeling this pain. No one is out there to help me. So this is a big risk, and I'm glad I made the jump. One of the most popular breakfast spots in Tombstone is the Longhorn Family Dining. There's a lot of cool art as soon as you walk in the windows, and the walls, all over the place. I ended up ordering some steaks, some bread, eggs, and potatoes with a side of OJ. 10 out of 10. After that, I ended up volunteering at the St. David's Cemetery. I thought this was fitting since I was in Tombstone, Arizona. Alright guys, for this episode, I'll be volunteering at a cemetery. I wanted to talk about one of the main reasons I started this channel, and there's this quote that has been inspiring me throughout this entire journey, and the quote goes like this: "The cemetery is filled with many people who thought they had more time. Right now, we are alive and we have all the time in the world. What are we going to do with it? You know?" So I was working a software engineering job. I was making six figures. But after some years, it no longer gave me the excitement that I was looking forward to. I'd wake up and say, oh, it's Monday, I gotta go back to work. Even though I was working from home, making six figures, it was no longer making me happy. So I had to really go for it and chase my dreams. I've had this idea since I was like 20 years old. I didn't have the confidence to do it up until I did 75 hard, and I was taking cold showers every single day. The cold showers forced me to believe in myself. It gave me that idea that I can do hard things. It built the trust within myself. And then, after a couple of months, April of this year of 2025, I decided it was time to make the big leap. I want to be the father that can afford to have a family, can afford to have kids, can afford to have a wife. And with the software job, I was only going to be able to afford me. So this is why I'm doing this big leap. So today I'm going to be raking, I'm going to be pulling out some weeds, and it's just overall to get a greater appreciation for the life that we have, and knowing that everything that we experience is temporal. One day we will all be gone. So make it count while you can. Thank you.